So yesterday I pulled another one of my old bicycles out of a shed, and we were supposed to get a whole lot of rain tonight, but that never happened. Although it was pissing just a little bit a few hours ago. So it looks like I need to make my own rain if I want to clean this bicycle up a bit. It's featuring special removable paint. Yeah, that's a real quality paint job. Shut up, chicken. Ah, come on, go away. Alright, I think this is clean enough. I will take it inside the barn and make a few pictures and do a little voiceover talk about this beauty. This local beauty. This here is the Pointer Arena, a local product, made in a town not that far away from here. And surprisingly, the factory is still in business, unlike so many bicycle makers that have stopped in the past decades. And according to their website, they still produce the Arena model. And that kinda surprised me a bit, although today you can only get a 54 or a 58 centimeter frame, so an extra large model like this one is no longer an option. But perhaps the kit saddle makes it look extremely large. It's too big for me, that's for sure. It also pulls rather hard to the left, but other than that it is still usable. Years ago I rebuilt the rear wheel for this bicycle. It was my first ever wheel build, and I remember drilling out the spoke holes because the rim I found at the scrap yard was for a front wheel. I am pleased to see that the wheel is still around, although it never saw a lot of action, because the bicycle is just too freakingly big. It also has the nastiest frame that I have ever seen. It looks like an aluminium frame because of the exposed welds and no lugs. But it is probably made from rusty old pipes somewhere in China. Big ones. So it would look more like a contemporary aluminium frame. I would say that this bicycle is probably heavier than my uncle's old Gazelle with its solid brake linkage and steel cranks. And talking about brakes, it has some sort of drum brakes from SRAM with huge cooling fans. Probably a bit overkill for a flat country like this. It just adds to the total weight of the bicycle. The front hub is an eyelight generator from SRAM, and it has a move LED headlight. On the rear it has something battery operated, most likely with some nasty old empty batteries. The rear hub is a 3-speed internally geared model, also from SRAM. And I believe that is more or less the same as the old Sachs torpedo model. It has a rather nasty looking grip shifter, but it still works as expected, so no problems there. It has stainless steel rims from Van Schothorst with galvanized spokes, and the tires seem to have some dry rot, but they do still hold air. There's lots of rust on the carrier, but not on the galvanized mudguards, and there's only a little bit on the frame. The chain is also rather rusty, and as usual the rear piece of the chain case is missing. The bicycle has the worst ever broken kickstand. And in general it doesn't have a lot of redeeming features. But it does have a nice bell. This model is great because you can turn the bicycle upside down on the floor without the bell getting in the way. The AXA SL7 ring lock is also nice to have, unless it is locked and the key is missing. Then you will have to get the angle grinder out and make some pretty sparks. But you probably have guessed it. Despite its local heritage, this one is going into my blue scrap metal container and join the others. Perhaps I will try out the running gear on my Chinesian bicycle. That could be a simple and fun project. But to be honest, I'm a big fan of the simplicity of a coaster brake hub. But those can also break down, as I have recently found out. Anyway, now it is time for this Pointer Arena to go into the arena head to head with my Makita angle grinder. So I guess you can expect some pretty sparks. I guess I cannot really scrap this bicycle before I take a test ride. So I just replaced this kit saddle with a Brooks saddle that I fixed up. and I adjusted the handlebar and the saddle height, and I should be ready to go. I'm hoping that tomorrow the wind will stay away and I can take care of this problem outside. Well, good evening. I'm almost at the concrete path. That should be a little easier to cycle on than this dirt road. Hi, Mrs. Cow. So it's about 8 o'clock and it's been a dark day. A windy and cloudy, overcast day. Quite a difference from the other day when we had 30 degrees. Let's go left, because otherwise I will be cycling against the wind. Alright, let's speed it up. Looks like the on-screen level is gone. That's annoying. But I will do my best to try and keep the camera level and not to shake too much. The chain sounds a bit dry, but I came prepared and brought some lubricant because I wanted to catch the sound before and after I put on a little bit of oil. So in a second I'm going to stop and lube the chain. The bicycle is still pulling to the left, making it a bit awkward to cycle with one hand. Bell sounds good enough. Well, up there I'm going to stop. Bicycle parking. So here we are. And I managed to flip the bicycle. So let's spray the chain. And boy, this thing is heavy. This is not something I can do while filming, because I didn't bring a tripod. Here's a before shot, and it sounds like I should have brought a wrench, because this chain is way too loose. I'm back on the bicycle, and it looks like my level indicator is also back, and I accidentally switched direction when I flipped the bicycle. So we're cycling against the wind. So you might hear that. There's also some tractor up ahead. Sounds like they're mowing some grass. The chain sounds a lot better. Yeah, those mowers are noisy. You want to bring your earmuffs. Definitely bring your earmuffs. Actually, the lawn mower is also rather noisy.
Although it used to be worse when it was still a when it was still a two-stroke engine. Man, the level is gone again. Maybe it only stays on for a short while, because after all it is a photo camera. So yeah, I just pressed the shutter button lightly and it immediately came back, so that's good. Yeah, what can I say about this pointer? It's way too big for me. As you can see, my knee doesn't even come close to the handlebar. And usually when the bicycle is about my size, the handlebar and my knee, they pretty much line up. Okay, I guess I got nothing else to say, so I will put the camera back in the bag, and tomorrow, if the weather permits, I'll start disassembling the pointer bicycle. Yeah, I know, it's a shame, but everything needs to die at some point. So I'm on my way back home and I'm taking another dirt road. Can you hear my oil can rattling? I must say that little bit of oil really transformed the bicycle. It's a different bicycle. It's so much quieter and lighter to cycle on. It made a huge difference. I guess that's all I wanted to say. All right. Now I need to get back off this high horse. Oh shit, kickstand. Well, cycling on this big bicycle isn't really a problem. It's getting on and off that is rather awkward. So that's why it has to die, and also because of the shitty kickstand. So it's a couple of days after I took my test ride, and finally the weather has changed back to pleasant again. So today I'm going to scrap this bicycle, or at least try to scrap this bicycle. And first I'm going to remove this saddle that I fixed up, which is sitting nice, by the way. Nicer than I expected. And then I will flip the bicycle and start removing the wheels. Wrong spanner. So I'll take this to safety. I think that must be the heaviest bicycle that I ever had. It's time to turn this Pointer Arena bicycle into a pile of parts. Let's do this. I'm warming up to the idea of using the running gear of this bicycle on my Chinesian bicycle. Just for fun. Shouldn't be a huge project, and it will be good practice. Yeah, got it. It's tight. Oh, there are those keeper washers. They are just recessed into the fork. First time I see that. It's kind of a neat system. I should disconnect the light. Of course, when I take out the wheel, the bicycle wants to tip over. So for now I will have to leave this in place and move on to the rear wheel. I think I prefer the Sturmy Archer setup for this little chain. How does this come off? Well, this piece already fell out. Does this screw off? Doesn't look like it's going to screw off. There might be a latch inside here. I'll need a small screwdriver. It's always the small things that cost a whole lot of time. Maybe I can just use a screwdriver as a lever. Yeah, there it is. Well, I guess I learned something. And this looks a bit different than on a Sturmy Archer. While the wheel is loose, the only thing left is this dirty chain, and I will have to be careful with this, otherwise I will get dirty fingers. So I will have to give this a special treatment, a bit of a precursor of things to come. And of course that rotten stinky bastards get stuck inside the chain case. There it is. I got it. And the rest will follow later. After dealing with that rusty chain without getting dirty hands, it's now time to remove this wheel. And here it is. And now I should also be able to take out the front wheel without disturbing the balance in the force. So here's the new drivetrain for my Chinesian bicycle. Exciting stuff, huh? It's time that I continue disassembling this carcass, and I think I will remove the chain case next. Sounds like somebody is proud that he made an egg. Well, I'm not going to stop filming. I always stop for those annoying aeroplanes. But I guess I make chickens a part of the channel.
And of course we get an encore, and there's a tie wrap, probably to fix a problem. There's also a hole in the chain case, an odd looking hole. I need to get a pair of pliers. She stopped for a second. Yeah, we get it. You got an egg. With the screws removed, I should be able to take out this part. There it is. Kind of odd how this trim piece runs over this piece. Huh. Never saw that before. There are so many different chain cases. And I think the rear piece might also come off. There it is. Next I'm going to remove the crank arms and then maybe the bottom bracket. Sounds like that chicken is still going. Being proud of her egg. They can easily go on for half an hour. The thread in the crank here still looks good, although it is aluminium, so I need to be careful with the crank puller. It's loose. The thread in here still looks good. A little bit of lubrication to help get the crank puller in. It felt like it was going in, but it is not turning completely concentric. But maybe there's maybe this piece got bent a little. Yeah, it's definitely screwing in all the way. So I will benefit from all the threads for maximum strength. Here we go. It sounds like that chicken finally gave up being proud of her egg. Oh, it's already loose. I hardly ever had to use any force. Not much anyway. Hopefully the other one will be just as easy. So I installed the crank puller in the other arm. Let's see if this one will also come out without a fight. I think I already got it. Yep. I think that was the easiest crank pulling job that I ever did. Not that I have done a whole lot. Now I'm going to remove the bottom bracket. It still felt okay, so I'm going to keep it and perhaps I can use it. Wow. Oh, that was unexpected. The whole plastic part just snapped off. I guess I will not be saving this bottom bracket. Well, I just removed the cables because, well, I guess I need those if I want to try out the running gear on my Chinesian bicycle. Well, there's not a lot that I want to keep. Maybe the handlebar and the grips, the light, the lock, and maybe those mud guards, because they are galvanized. Although they are starting to oxidize, and the whole mud guard, it kind of feels like an orange peel. But they do not rust. And now the sparks will start. So that's done. And now I can easily remove the lock. I guess I was wrong, because there's nothing easy about removing these rusty screws. My old flathead screwdriver will not do it. I will try and see if I can fit a hex socket on these heads. I need longer sockets. And of course now the mud guard is in the way. The plastic of the ring lock is also in the way of this socket. So I will have to use the screwdriver. But with the mud guard removed, I should be able to apply a little bit more pressure. Look at that, easy. God damn it. The other one is being difficult. I will do a little grinding on my screwdriver so it will have sharper edges. I did a little grinding. Let's try this again. And still this screw is a bitch. I think it's coming. Yeah. Looks like I'm winning. Still I need to put a lot of pressure on the screwdriver to keep it inside the slit. But here we go. One AXA SL7 lock. It's starting to look like a real slaughterhouse here in front of the barn doors. Next I'm going to cut up this part of the frame into smaller pieces that will fit inside the scrap metal container. I'm not going to try and get this fastener out, because this is aluminium and it will probably be stuck. So I'm going to cut off this section of the frame, and then it will fit inside the container. I think the sun is about to start shining, and that sucks for the recordings. Well, I guess I could remove these two little bolts and then take off this rear light, which probably has a nasty battery inside. In fact, I can see them.
Well, I took out those little bolts, and now I can perform my signature move, and that is standing on a carrier with my clogs. This one is being difficult, but it's a folding bike. Well, the sun started to shine again, so I had to move this into the shade, and looks like this light was repaired with a piece of tape. Yeah, that one is looking nasty. And there's also some tape around this battery. I wonder why. Well, they are nastier than I thought they would be. All these have to go into the chemical container. Well, I'm almost done with the pointer bicycle. Next I will take off the headlight, because I will try that out on the Chinesian bicycle. Maybe I will also save the bell. Well, that took forever, but I got it. Looks like this one uses tire wraps instead of nice clips. Alright. Next I will take off the handlebar. Got it. Well, a few more cuts with the angle grinder and it's all over for the pointer arena. I guess he lost in this arena. 4 cuts and it should all fit inside the scrap metal container. And now I can make the same joke again. The step through frame. I'm sorry, but comedians repeat the same jokes night in, night out. I thought this inside of a welded frame was kinda interesting. It's tea time and it's time for the final cut. I think I can bend the remaining bit, so that should fit inside the container. Well, the sun has gone away and I cleaned up my tools, and this is all that is left from the pointer arena bicycle. And the stuff on the right I will keep for now, and I will try these wheels on my Chinesian bicycle at some point in the future. And the small package on the left, that can all go into the scrap metal container. Yep, I guess I really took care of this one. To be continued. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's try that again, this time without the C-tube. So, done.
I'm checking out the first wheel that I ever built about 5 or 6 years ago, and it still feels good. This one might be a bit loose, but that's on the non-drive side, so I guess that's okay. And now I'm looking into the wobble, and it all still looks good. Very usable for a wheel that has drum brakes. Yeah, mounting this wheel on the Chinese bicycle should be feasible. Although the Chinese bicycle doesn't have a mounting bracket for the front drum brake. But I guess I can fix that with a hose clamp. It sounds like this is another one of those rattling van Schothorst rims. Shut up, chicken. It sounds a bit like there are small pieces of weld spatter inside the rim. Hey, I wish I could sleep like you. Must be awesome.